Afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome to this live edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the Lunch Break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel, and of course on Roku via the BS3 Network. Get you the app, download the BS3 app so you can watch the shows, all the fantastic programming offered to you by BS3 on Roku. I am, of course, KG Kris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. And I'm going to say this, won't get into much of it, but as I was waiting for the announcement of the new Pope, because I am a proud Catholic, warts and all, mine specifically, especially right now with all the hardships I'm going through and have experienced. But I'm waiting for that announcement. I'm not going to mention it here during the show live, of course, but just sharing that note for you. Miss Wanda Polk, thank you very much for chiming in and count on her support. And I'm going to do this. I see that. I can see that on the right side. And so she's got it working too. So I'm not sure if she's on her laptop or if today was the day that the phone mobile app worked for her to provide a comment. Either way, it's great to see her part of the discussion. And there it is right there on the big screen, but also on the right column as well, as I have the new toys here on this platform, bringing you the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the Lunch Break. We're going to talk some Rockets, going to talk some Cougs, men and women. Some Big 12 might get into some, hey, you said the phone, so excellent, got it to work this time. Or it worked for you this time, so you know how to, you're tech savvy, Miss Wanda, so it worked. I'm glad to see it. Hope you can see it on the right side there in the right column, the new toy, one of my new toys here. And we get at halftime, we'll get into the news about the ACC. Not going to really get into too much of the discussion about the Big Ten and their revenue sharing, almost $1 billion that they generated for their last fiscal year reported. A few million ahead of the SEC, well ahead of the ACC, and well ahead of the Big 12. But nonetheless, on this fast-paced 55 minutes and some change of the takeover, let's talk Rockets. Let's talk Cougs. Let's talk Big 12. And we'll get into it. As always, reminder to everyone, and I am a businessman, even though my bank account hardly shows it, displays it now. But if you are interested in advertising on this show, on all of the platforms shows, including the AdMax Corner for your NFL coverage, including the Texans with AD Moore, just hit me up, email me at advertise@thehrr.com. Also, if you want to email me regarding advertising on the Rocket shows, do that as well, because those have become more and more popular with some help from the Warriors fans who are trolling and gloating, and they have a right to, because their team advanced to the second round, and my pick was wrong because I guaranteed that the Rockets would win Game 7, and boy, they did not do that. Alas, Buddy Hield said, Kris, you're going to be wrong. And yeah, he took care of that for me. But advertise at thehrr.com. 5 figures, the views last month on the shows on the platform, just on YouTube. But this show, Houston Roundball Review, is also available on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. So thousands of eyeballs and ears for you to reach an audience. And also, as the Queen, Miss Wanda, has done plenty of times, you can also order your Houston Roundball Review merch. Got some new designs, new caps, new mugs, some specific Rocket merch for you fans of the Rockets. Want to do that as well. So order your merch. Click on that shop button if you're watching here on the Houston Roundball Review on YouTube. So different ways to show your support and be proud to be a fan and supporter of the Houston Roundball Review. Miss Wanda, the queen of support, she's proud of it. She tells all of her friends, as many people as she can, the alums, and about the Houston Roundball Review, and she's proud of the work that I do, and I appreciate her support, and hopefully continue doing this for another 30 years. Honestly, this right now, year 2025 of our Lord, is the closest that the Houston Roundball Review has come to shutting it down. So this is the 5th month of the year. Let's see if we can get to the 12th month of this year. Let us see. So, but let's keep pressing forward, and we're going to do what I can to keep going. Talk Rockets. First thing, this was mentioned on the most recent episode of Let's Talk Houston Rockets. See, she's got the Queen she shows her support, and she's proud to support the Houston Roundball Review. Notice she says she has one of her shirts. She has more. She has a few Houston Roundball Review shirts, and I got new design. So when she has time and her funds allow, she's probably going to get another shirt with a new design because she is a dedicated and true supporter of the Houston Roundball Review. I'm trying to clone her and get more and more people like her and Dr. Maisha to support the Houston Roundball Review and Mr. Steve Saxenian. If I could clone those three people, the Roundball Review and Let's Rate Coogs, we'd be set. We would be set with our support annually. We would be set. But alas, I'm not that kind of guy to clone people. But so I'm looking for more folks to support Let's Rate Coogs, the Houston Roundball Review, the AdMax Corner, Folks Talking Sports. I want to get that back going. I want to have a daily show, but it's got to make sense for me and for you, the audience. Okay. Comment from the most recent edition of Let's Talk Houston Rockets. This is from the leader of the Rockets, Mr. Fred VanVleet. Quote from Fred, this is the ESPN. We know in the playoffs, sometimes it boils down to if you have an unguardable guy in the last 5 minutes that can close the game. We got everything else. I don't think it's like some savior that's going to come here and save all our sins. But it's like, do you have a guy you could throw it to the last 5 minutes in a playoff series that can win you games when it matters the most? I think that if we had that, I think we would be considered more title favorites. Now you can still have success in the playoffs, but it's just harder. The margin of error is smaller. So as you're watching on YouTube and on Roku via the BS3 Network, do you agree with what Fred said? Do the Rockets need to get that unguardable guy? Do they have that guy currently on the roster? I don't think they do. But if they don't, if you believe they need that person, who is that person? Who in your mind is that guy? Is that all-star? Is that not really all-star, all-NBA player? Because Alpi Sengun was an all-star this year. Who is that guy? Who is that unguardable guy that you would like to see your Rockets obtain, acquire, make a trade for to make it happen? Who is that person? Who do you want that person to be? Let me know in your comments here on this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the Lunch Break, powered by my man, AJ Jones, JM&E. D-Skills, another Houston alum. Miss Wanda, I think you know D-Skills. We need to put D-Skills on the spot. I've known D-Skills since 7th grade. 7th grade. Miss Wanda, I think it's time for D-Skills to buy some Houston Roundball Review merch. What say you? I think so, D-Skills. I'm putting you on blast. My brother, I love you, but I'm putting you on blast to buy a cap, buy a mug, something. Not telling you what to buy. I'm not going to tell you to buy, you can only buy $3 or nothing like that. But do something. But anyway, his comment for everyone right here, put on the big screen as well. I love the right side edition right there. I really do. D-Skills says Rockets not only at the end of the game, but you need that guy when the offense get stagnant. Put the link in the description. I'll do that. You want to click it on the bell, on the product button, on the shop button? I will do that for you at the end of the show. You got it. I will do that and put the link in the description. I got it already for you. It's a nice bit.ly link. So I will do that for you. Appreciate that, brother. But and the Rockets offense got stagnant a lot. A lot. And it was stagnant a lot in Game 7, unfortunately. Much to the chagrin of Rocket fans. But whose fault is that? Is it the coaching staff? Is it the players? Is it both? I think it's both. But at some point, it's on the players as well. It's on Jalen Green to figure it out. It's on him to figure out how a team is defending him and what he needs to do to counter those defenses. It's not always on the staff. A staff can draw up and design great plays on the board, on the grease board, on the video board, and all that kind of stuff. The players got to figure it out for themselves and make those adjustments in game. That's one thing the Rockets are lacking. Will more experience, will that be a cure for the Rockets? Now that the youngsters have had their first playoff, will that be enough for them to be better next year, assuming they make the playoffs for a second time? They should, barring injuries to a lot of people. But would that be enough? Is it just enough for continuity's sake? Bring back everybody. If they bring back everyone, will that be enough to get them over the hump? I don't think so. I don't believe it will. It's not like you cannot assume that the other teams in the West are going to just stand still. You have to assume they will improve as well because their players are going to get better, have a year under their belt, get experience. So if they get better, you got to get better. But I think the Rockets are going to probably shy away from making a big move this summer unless a superstar kind of pushes them into that direction and says publicly, I want to be a Houston Rocket. Make it happen. Until then, I can see Rafael Stone waiting patiently, kind of, until January, February, by the deadline, and make a move. Ironically, y'all know it. You see that jersey in the back over my left shoulder. The Detroit Pistons are in a similar boat. They have a young core of players. GM Trajan Langdon said at his end-of-season press conference, he wants to see the young guys grow, want to have continuity. He said that same word, continuity, before he probably makes a blockbuster deal. He'll make calls. He'll take calls from other teams, see what they say. It's part of the job. Take those calls. But the Pistons' young core, they have a little bit different angle than the Rockets because two of Detroit's core players were injured. In Jaden Ivey, fractured fibula, missed the last, 50 games of the season. And then their best backup big man, Isaiah Stewart, missed the last 5 games of the first round series against the Knicks. So his absence was, he was missed. So if they get those two guys healthy, then Detroit has probably 9 or 10 guys already coming back. And that's not really counting Marcus Sasser, alas. I'm not sure how this is going to impact Marcus. Jaden Ivey, Malik Beasley not going anywhere, but that's another story. But back to the slides. Let me know in your comments about the Rockets should make a change now. Kind of a big change going for a superstar because it seems like nationally, the majority of people, media, fans, outside observers, believe the Rockets do not currently have that superstar player, that top 5, top 10, top 15 player that can go get them a bucket. Go when the offense breaks down and gets stagnant, they can just go get points, draw double team, command 2, 3 players from a defense, and make the offense easier for teammates. Rafael Stone and Ime Udoka disagree with that mindset right now, that mentality. We'll see how long that mentality stays the same. Next on the show, we're going to talk some UH women's basketball, Ms. Wanda. Kendall Hunter, she's on the roster for 25-26 which indicates she's signed. I have not seen her update or post anything on her gram or the school website that she has signed. But she's a Coug. She's committed. She's a Coug. Clear Creek High School legend. She and her backcourt mate Rory Harmon teamed up, led Clear Creek to, I think, Cy Creek. I think I typed Clear Creek, Cy Creek. Oh, where I got Clear Creek from? Cy Creek. To the state championship game. She scored 2,000 points in her high school career, on and on and on. Did not have that kind of success so far in college. Started out Texas and transferred to A&M, battled injuries, but she's now a Coug. Last redshirt senior. Website says she's a senior. Amani Bartlett transferred to the Cougs. Played her 4 years at LSU. 6'3", from Houston Christian High School, Cleveland, Texas. She'll be a graduate senior. Transferred to Coach Mitchell and the Cougs. Shanteria Shun Anumale, 5'8" guard. She's a sophomore. Be one of the youngsters on the 25-26 roster. Fort Bend, Austin. Noticing kind of a pattern here. These skills, Miss Wanda. And ladies from the Houston area coming back home. Shun last season played at St. Louis. Notice, I'm going to say this, I'm being kind. I'm going to put myself on the big screen. I did not post stats for those 3 young ladies. There's a reason for that. Their stats last season were not great. Either, I'm not sure, I don't believe any of those 3 averaged double-figure points. I think Shanteria averaged 9 points a game. Kendall around 5 for A&M. Amani maybe even less than that for LSU. Did not have great shooting numbers either. But they are part of the 25-26 Houston Cougars women's basketball roster. Hopefully, with a better opportunity, more minutes under Coach Mitchell and the Cougars staff, their production will increase. They'll have a chance to score more, shoot better, have better shooting numbers, because the shooting numbers weren't great either. Probably in the 30s, maybe low 40% for all of them. So, but we shall see. These skills, it's still enough, should be enough to buy a ticket to see a game, a women's game this year. Miss Wanda, you as well. I mean, they are the Big 12. It is Big 12 women's basketball, so you can come see the Cougs play Big 12. And all they got to do to be improved from last season is win 2 Big 12 conference games. That's all you have to do, is just win 2 games in the Big 12, and that'll be an improvement from last season. That's all they got to do, just win 2. I think they can do that. I think so. But there's a roster breakdown of the 25-26 Houston Cougars women's team. Just 3 returning players. Just 3. 6'1" Summer Bostock, guard, forward, Maryland, transferred initially, but she played last year for the Cougs. Kiki Merchant. Oh, well, he got jokes in his favorite Twitter follower. Miss Wanda, guess who D-Skill's favorite Twitter follower is, who's no longer there? Guess. Guess. But Kiki Merchant has a great chance, I think, to be the team's leading scorer for this coming season. Westfield High School, 5'9" junior guard. Kateri Poole missed last season, tore ACL in September or October. Transferred from LSU. She was a Coug last season, but missed a year because of the ACL injury. 2 incoming freshmen. I haven't seen them play. Don't know much about them. I think, was it Kayla King was named to an all-state team in Texas a few days ago. So she has talent. That's good. That's positive. So you see 5 players right there. 3 returning players, 2 incoming freshmen. Currently 6 transfers. 6. First, these are listed alphabetical, last name. Amira Abdul-Rahim, 6'3", graduate forward. Started at SMU last year, maybe 2 years at Texas A&M. Shanteria, as I mentioned, St. Louis. Amani Bartlett, as I mentioned. Kendall Hunter. Brianna Peguero, transferred officially to the Cougs probably 3 weeks ago now from Troy last season, before Troy Mercer. And then last but not least, TK Pitts. Now notice, 11 players. You got 6'3", 6'3", 6'1", 6'1". That's 4 out of 11 are taller than 6 feet. They're in the Big 12. That's a short team in the Big 12. It's a lot of guards as well to compete in the Big 12. So right now, the team will be undersized. So if you're undersized, you got to play fast. You got to play aggressive. You got to get steals and do your best to crash the boards and get rebounds and force turnovers. And so they're going to have to win differently than pounding it down low and beating people in the low post. So that's not on the agenda this first year for Coach Matthew Mitchell and the Houston Cougars women's basketball team. 6'1", 5'9", 5'8", 5'10", 5'10", 6'3", 5'8", 6'3", 5'7", 5'7", 6'1". Yeah. But really to be expected. New coach, new tenure, new philosophy. Not a easy opportunity to get top tier transfers because the programs did not make the tournament for the last 11 years. The program was kind of in a rut. Fan support wasn't there. Honestly, you could argue support from the administration wasn't there for years. So why would top players want to come to Houston? So I think it's a good sign that there are among these 11 some Houston area players coming home. That's a start. Now the next question will be, will the presence of these Houston area players being on the roster and playing, will that be enough to generate interest and get fans in the building, buy the tickets to see these Cougs play? One of the arguments, Ms. Wanda is excited about the possibilities for the Cougs and Coach Mitchell. I am as well. But one argument that alums and fans say throughout college athletics, if they don't have enough local players. If they had more players, more Houston area players, or more Dallas area players, more people I know, I'd go see them play. Well, Coach Mitchell he's done some of that. He's got Houston area players. He's got players who play college ball in the state of Texas. They're on this roster. So you got the funds, got the time. Go to some games. Support these Cougs. But, no question. No doubt. I think you're being kind when you say a couple. Because this first year, my Coach Mitchell, D-Skills to his credit, pointed out or has seen Coach Mitchell being active on social media, on the Cougar Red Fridays and things of that sort, and letting fans know where he and his staff are going regarding recruiting and recruiting trips. And so it's going to take time. I mean, I really do believe Coach Mitchell, it's analogous to Coach Sampson's first 2 years taking over the men's program. Women's program is in a coma. So women's basketball is booming all over the country, not in Houston. So it's going to take fans a while. They're going to have to win, surprise some people. I don't expect a lot of wins this first year, but show signs of progress, show signs of improvement, show signs that people can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not a train. That there's hope for this program. So 2-3 years. But one thing is revenue sharing is coming soon. The opportunities for players to stay home and earn some money will be there. So that's a plus. Competing in the Big 12 is another plus, should be a plus also. Ironically, and I'm going to take the slides off the screen. Ironically, at this time of Houston women's basketball, college, I've been told, I've heard from a few high school coaches, a few AAU coaches, that the talent level on girls high school hoops in Greater Houston is not great right now. So that is also an issue, a hindrance for Coach Mitchell and the staff, because you want to get talented players to come play for you. Well, I've been told there's not a lot of talented players in the area right now for Houston, Rice, TSU, HCU to sign. Well, if there are not a lot of talented players, especially in the next, say, class of 26, 27, then you got to go elsewhere to get that talent. Go to San Antonio. Go to Dallas. Go to Louisiana. I mean, so if you have to go elsewhere to get that talent, then you got to win. Because if you go elsewhere, then some folks here in town will say, well, you didn't get any players from Houston. Well, apparently there's not a lot of talent here right now in Houston on the girls' side. So, I mean, Coach Mitchell's job is to win. He's got to do what he got to do to win. If that means signing players from elsewhere, transfer portal or whatever, he's got to do it. All right, let's see. Now I'll take a little more discussion here. Back to the slides. D-Skill's favorite commissioner, his favorite commissioner, will be leading the Big 12 through 2030. Unless, anything happens. But Tuesday, the Big 12 board chair and Baylor president Linda Livingstone announced that the Big 12 board of directors has voted to extend Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark's contract for an additional 3 years through the 29-30 academic year. Chair Livingstone said, on behalf of the Big 12 Conference Board of Directors, we are pleased to extend Commissioner Brett Yormark's contract an additional 3 years past the remaining 2 years of his existing agreement. Commissioner Yormark was named the Big 12's fifth commissioner on June 29th and officially began his tenure on August 1st, 2022. Commissioner Yormark stated, quote, I would like to thank the board for their continued support. We have made great progress over the last 3 years, and our best days are ahead. I am thrilled to continue to work alongside our member schools as we grow and strengthen the Big 12 into a conference that is innovative and prepared for what the future may hold, end quote. His biggest accomplishment so far. The aggressive pursuit and consummation of a new TV deal is Yormark's biggest moment as commissioner. Early on in his tenure in the summer of 2022, he prioritized and achieved early negotiations with Fox and ESPN more than a year before their exclusive negotiating window. A few months later, the Big 12 agreed to a 6-year, $2.28 billion deal. And of course, that deal, that jumping ahead of the Pac-12, led to the demise of the old Pac-12. Pac-12 was still around, but the new iteration of the Pac-12 is not Power 4 status. So they're not really part of the Power 4 discussions. That include the Big 10, SEC, Big 12, and the ACC. Now, of course, Gonzaga is joining them, I think, next year, but they're not in football school. So they're not really a big push for them to be part of the Pac-12 in terms of Power 4 relevance that way. But D-Skills and Miss Wanda's favorite commissioner, Mr. Brett Yormark, got a 3-year contract extension from the Big 12's board of directors through the year 2029, 2030. Bottom of the hour on this edition of the Houston Roundball Review, takeover of the lunch break, Throwback Thursday style. Takeover powered by JM&E. Streaming live on YouTube via the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel. And of course, on Roku. Yes, on Roku via the BS3 Network. As is customary, I'm going to play the promo to give you an indication of what BS3 TV /BS3 Network is all about. And the takeover will be back in about 35 seconds. I'm, of course, KG Kris Gardner of the Houston Roundball Review, and you are watching the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E via BS3 Network on Roku.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Welcome back to this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the Lunch Break. Throwback Thursday. The takeover is powered by JM&E. It's streaming live on YouTube via the Houston Roundball Review channel and on Roku via the BS3 Network. I am, of course, KG Kris Gardner of the Houston Roundball Review. First half of the show, if you missed it, you can watch it on demand on those platforms, as I mentioned. Discussed Houston Cougars women's basketball roster. Brett Yormark, Big 12, getting a contract extension through 2030. And also the Rockets. Fred VanVleet said the Rockets need a go-to player, an unguardable guy, those last 5 minutes. Next, these final moments of this edition of The Takeover. Houston Cougars men's hoops made some news. And I kind of know this guy. He's got ties to the area. He's from the area. He's from H-Town. Assistant coach Mike Ekanem joins the Cougs men's basketball staff. Veteran coach Mike Ekanem joined the Cougs on Tuesday. It was announced on Tuesday. Officially, it was announced, I think, last week. Ekanem's hiring is pending on other thing. The board will approve it. He'll be part of the staff. Ekanem's, whose last name is pronounced Ekanem, that's why I'm saying it, that's like that, joined the Cougs after serving as an assistant coach at Oklahoma State last season. There he helped lead the Cowboys to 17 wins and a berth in the NIT quarterfinals, following wins over Wichita State and SMU. Quote from Coach, "I am grateful for the opportunity to work for Coach Sampson and in the program that he has built. He has taken Houston to levels it's never seen with a culture of winning, toughness, player development, and in building men. Houston is a dream job for me and always has been. I look forward to building meaningful, lasting relationships with our current players and alumni while striving to bring value in every aspect of Houston men's basketball, both on and off the court." Quote from Coach Sampson, "Mike fits in with our culture and is very much a go-getter. He is an extremely hard worker, is well-connected, and is well-respected in our industry. When you have a program built on culture like ours is, it's important to find someone who matches that. Mike fits in well with our other staff members and will bring great value to our program. We're looking forward to working with Mike and welcome him, Hannah, his wife, Major, Ty, and Jersey kids to the Cougar family." So thoughts on that, D-Skills? Thoughts on that one? The thoughts on that, everyone watching this edition of the Houston the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the Lunch Break. New staffer, new Coach E is connected. Coach E is very, very highly respected in the men's basketball ranks. Great addition to the staff. Grinder. Great eye for talent. Hard worker, knows people in the area, in Texas, in the country, on and on. Checks a lot of boxes for the Houston Cougars. And of course, there was a spot open because Coach Quannas White became the head coach at Louisiana. D-Skills, are they still Louisiana Lafayette, or are they just Louisiana now? University of Louisiana. Are they still Ooh La La, or is it just Louisiana? But that's where Coach Q is. And Coach E has now filled his spot on the staff. You could say, I'll say mainly, it's a part of his job here on the staff. I won't say mainly. That's what I thought. I thought it was Louisiana. I saw somewhere, maybe it was part of Coach E's press release, mentioned both. And I was like, no, I don't think that they're that anymore. But anyway, but Coach Ekanem, has recruiting ties. I'll put it like that. And I'll just say it again. He knows people. Okay. He knows people. He is, as a quote from Coach Sampson, he is well connected. He is highly respected. So someone of his caliber with those connections never hurts. Of course, since the Cougars are now a nationally relevant program, the Cougs recruit nationally. You know, they were in the Atlanta area, Georgia, for a visit with Caleb Holt. Caleb is one of the top players in the class of 26. And I think Caleb has made an unofficial visit to Houston a few times. I want to say I saw him at a game. So he has a relationship with the Houston staff. Not saying he's going to sign with the Cougs. He hasn't even announced his narrative list yet. I think it's still down to like 20 schools. So he hasn't got down to 5 or 10 yet. But Caleb Holt is a top, depending on what you look at, top 5, top 10 player in the country for the class of 2026. The final rankings, D-Skills, Miss Wanda, everyone, the BS3 family, for the class of 25, the Cougs have 3 players ranked top 20 will be freshmen this coming year. Highest ranked, Kris Gardner, big man. I've seen him as high as 5 or 6, maybe as low as 7. Isaiah Harwell, 6'5", wing, ranked between probably 12 and 15. And this is in the country, okay? Not Texas. This is in the country. And then San Antonio, Brennan High School young man, Kingston Flemings. Kris Gardner at 6'9", might be 6'10". Isaiah Harwell, 6'5", 6'6". Kingston Flemings, 6'3", maybe 6'2", 6'3". Kingston is ranked, I've seen him ranked nationally 16 to 22, around there. So 3 of the top 25 players in the class of 25 will be Houston Cougars, or are Houston Cougars. We'll be playing. They'll be here in a few weeks. Report date is June 5th, whatever. And they'll be part of the program, learn what it means to work out Cougar style, get in shape Cougar style, learn from Coach Alan Bishop, strength and performance coach, about what it means to be in Coach Bishop shape, and have him work on their bodies, their body types, and get stronger, leaner, all of that. So you add those 3 to Emmanuel Sharp, to Pop Isaacs, to JoJo Tugler, to Mercy Miller, Cordell Jefferson, Jacob McFarland, Cedric Lott, on and on. Ramon Walker. They'll still be good. They'll still win a lot of games. I truly doubt they'll go 19-1 in the Big 12 again. These skills. I'm enjoying the journey. I want them to win the championship, the national championship. I'm not downplaying the regular season, the non-conference, the Big 12 conference play, none of that. Of course, Big 12 conference play is going back to 18 games away from 20, thank goodness. So I'm not, well, hell, the Coogs can't go 19-1 because they're only going to play 18 games of conference play. So if they lose once, twice, 3, 4 times in Big 12 conference play, I won't care. I won't cry. I won't worry. I, as an alum, as a very proud alum, want them to get those 6 wins in the tournament. It's not championship or bust for me, but that's what I want them to accomplish is a championship. They'll still be successful. They'll still reach the tournament. They'll probably still reach the Sweet 16, barring, health. Gotta stay healthy. Some luck here and there, and then you never know. So I'm looking forward to that team. Looking forward to seeing how the women's team does. If they get better. And I'll know, because last season's women's basketball team, one, they weren't healthy. No fault of their own. I mean, some games they only had 6 players. So they gave it what they could. But the talent just wasn't there. They weren't going to win games. They competed. They did what they could. They busted their butts, played as hard as they could, but they weren't going to win games. We'll see how Coach Mitchell's team does. Healthy. They can stay healthy, the 11 players. That'll help. Compete, play hard, and then go from there. I agree with this. I think some fans are in that mindset now of championship or bust. So they're getting spoiled from the success that Coach Sampson and staff have produced these last few years. When I was younger, because I'm old now, I probably would have had that mindset. But the tournament, college basketball, is one and done. It's not a series. It's not 4 out of 7. So because it's one and done, you just never know. It's based on matchups, who you play in the tournament. It's based on health. It's based on an off night for you, an off night for your opponent. It's based on anything can happen. Hell, we saw it. We saw LJ Cryer for the first time all year, I think, step out of bounds on the sideline. Never done that before. Dribble drive baseline. Toss up a shot instead of keep dribbling through. Emmanuel Sharp, not taking a shot, hesitating. They did that. You never know. These skills. This is a funny one. When he was younger, I just wanted them to be able to win 2 games in a row. Now, young fella, you and I are roughly the same age. So we were young enough to see the great Phi Sigma Gamma teams. And then we were also old enough to remember a lot of dark years. a lot of dark years, literally inside Hall Finance Pavilion because it was so dimly lit. But now these last 11 years and this 12th year under Coach Sampson and staff, another golden era for Houston Cougars men's basketball. Next slide here, final one, slide-wise, is about the ACC wising up, going to reduce the number of conference games in men's basketball from 20 to 18. I love this from colleague Matt Nolander, CBS Sports. After more than half a decade of experimentation with a 20-game schedule in men's basketball, the ACC is moving back to an 18-game conference slate for the 25-26 season and beyond. ACC athletic directors approved the switch on a league-wide call Wednesday morning, sources told CBS Sports. I'm trying to get Matt, interview him in the next few weeks, see if he has more info on the Players Era Festival, because he spoke with him last year. He was the first person to break that news. See if he had more info about the upcoming Players Era Festival later on in November of this year. Back to the slide. The conference played a 20-game schedule since 2019-2020, though it was shortened in the COVID year. The decision comes after lobbying was made in the past 2 years by some coaches and athletic directors to go back to 18. The ACC's disappointing 24-25 season in men's hoops was an obvious catalyst in reversing course, sources said. The league sent just 4 of its 18 teams to the men's tournament, including North Carolina, who should not have gone, should not have been there. should have been just 3 teams from the league, which was controversially one of the final schools to make the cut. Should not have made the cut. 4 out of 18 equates to 22.2%. Should have been 16.7%. The lowest percentage of ACC teams to make the big dance since the tournament expanded to 64 in 1985. Some upper echelon programs, Duke, just read this, Duke, not Duke chief among them, Duke, wanted to drop 2 games from the league schedule in an effort to avoid dead weight dragging down NCAA tournament resumes. The more quad 3 and quad 4 games based on the NCAA net rankings on a league schedule, the worse a conference's chances at more NCAA tournament bids. Ironically, Duke, because the conference was so bad, half of Duke's schedule had Q3 and Q4 games on it. That's why I was kind of bummed or did not understand why so many national media did not discuss the possibility of Houston moving ahead of Duke along the 1 seed line, because the Cougs had similar number of big Q1 wins, but way less Q3 and Q4 games, because Big 12 was better than the ACC last season. But I digress. Lastly, the league expanded to 18 teams last season with the additions of Cal, Stanford, and SMU. Dead weight. Even in reducing the league slate, the solution for the ACC's woes lie in its non-conference performances, not its intra-conference schedule. This quote is it. You aren't going to fix the problems by going from 20 to 18, one source told CBS Sports. The problem for the ACC is a lot of these teams just haven't been good. End quote. One more time. The problem for the ACC is a lot of these teams just haven't been good. And the numbers bear that out. Bear it out. The last 4 or 5 seasons, the ACC has been the last ranked power conference in non-conference wins and losses. Teams haven't been good enough. Yeah, now they're good teams, have been good enough to advance to the Final Four, but the rest of the conference, there's a lot of them, not very good. So we'll see if a change from 20 to 18 will help those bad teams become good. I kind of doubt it, because overall, the ACC teams are not as good as the SEC teams. They're not as good as the Big 12 teams. They're not as good as the Big 10 teams. Well, if you're playing those teams non-conference, you're going to get a lot of L's. You get those L's non-conference, you're still not going to see a lot of teams to the tournament. Pretty easy. Pretty simple. All right, everybody. That'll do it. That'll wrap it up on this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the lunch break. Alan Tran, how are you? Thank you for chiming in. Appreciate you chiming in from the West Coast. Tran, I'm going to do this for you. See if I can. Give me a moment. Give me a moment here, because you are a women's basketball fan. So let me back up my slides and show this for you regarding Coach Mitchell's women's basketball roster. Let's see. The Cougars. Here we go. This is currently Coach Mitchell's roster. Half of it. 3 returning players, 2 freshmen, 6 transfers. Okay? 6 transfers. None of them are coming in with great scoring numbers. They're not great shooters. I think the best scorer of the transfers is Brianna Peguero, 5'7" guard. She's from the area. You see players from the area coming home. Kendall Hunter, Clear Creek, high school legend for Clear Creek, but has not had a lot of success in college. Battled some injuries. But the height of these players. 6 transfers, 6'3", 5'8", 6'3", 5'7", 5'7", 6'1". TK Pitts is a defensive steals machine. She gets steals. She gets after it. But those players, you got 3 players above 6 feet. The freshmen, returning players. 6'1", 5'9", 5'8", 5'10", 5'10". So out of the 11 players currently on the roster, I think Coach will try to get a few more, maybe some JUCO players, maybe. Out of the 11, 4 players 6'1" or up, 6'1" or taller. In the Big 12, I mean, there's some Big 12 teams who start 5 players 6 feet tall and up. So, none of them can shoot, Tran. Based on the stats from last season, specifically the transfers. Amira's a post player, not a great shooter. Shanteria shot like 32% last year. Amani's a post player, not a great shooter. Kendall Hunter, not a great shooter in college. Brianna, not a great shooter. TK Pitts, not a great shooter. So, not a great shooter. CA37, thank you for joining the show. How many wins minimum will be a success for Coach Mitchell? Well, 2 Big 12 wins, because the team last year only won 1 in the Big 12, so 2 in the Big 12. I think last year's team, won 5 games, I think, total? Is that right? Might be wrong there. But 2 Big 12 wins. 2. I think that's doable. And I say that because, just honestly, the Big 12 is not an elite, is not top to bottom an elite conference compared to the Big 10, the SEC, and the ACC. So that's another reason why I believe it might not take very long for Coach Mitchell to have success at Houston, because the Big 12, yes, is a power conference, women's hoops, but it's, K-State, TCU is now the queen of the conference. Had a quick turnaround in just 2 years for Coach Campbell. That's transfers. So we'll see if Coach Mitchell will have similar success in that quick amount of time. But the Cougs are going to be short. They'll be aggressive defensively and get after it. Win games, forcing turnovers, steals, scoring off those turnovers. That's one thing Coach Huey teams struggle with. They could force turnovers. They just didn't make shots. So the Tran, CA, 2 Big 12 wins will be an improvement this first year for Coach Mitchell. But you see among the transfers, you're seeing players who are from the area. They're from Houston area, greater Houston area. They're coming home. So that's a positive sign going forward. Now we'll see if Coach Mitchell can get those players from high school to sign with Houston, the good ones, the great ones. And right now, there's not a lot of great ones. As Tran is saying in the comments, the elite team, TCU. Baylor's better than Houston. Baylor, under Coach Collin, has yet to reach Coach Mulkey level of success. The success Coach Collin has had at Baylor, I'd love for Houston to have. Okay. But in terms of national championship level, Baylor hasn't gotten there yet. K-State had a great run. We'll see if they can continue it. Iowa State, again, all the teams in the Big 12 at the top tier have had more success or have had success that I would like Houston to have. But that does not mean they are elite like South Carolina, like UConn, like USC, UCLA. I hope one day for Houston to get to that level. But right now, I just want them to improve, get to the top half of the Big 12, then get to the tournament, and then win a game in the tournament, small steps. So that's how we're going to wrap it up on a positive note. On a positive note, going to wrap it up right there, talking about some Houston Cougars women basketball. My mistake on the error I had on Kendall Hunter's first slide. I don't know why I had her at the wrong high school. I don't know why I missed that. But to trend to CA37 D skills. For D skills, I'm going to put the link to the store in the description once I'm done with the video here. Thank you for that note. Appreciate that. Reminder everyone, if you want to know someone who's willing and able, advertise here on the show. Email me at advertise@thehrr.com. Once again, advertise at some say the hrr.com. And I'm going to put the description in the link to the store so you can order your official Houston Roundball Review merch. I could put it in the scroll, but I'll put it in the description so you can click on it. So as always, to Miss Wanda, to D Skills, to Tran, to CA37, to Ben and the BS3 family, thank you everyone for watching the show. Tell your friends about the Houston Roundball Review. Tell your friends about BS3 Network on Roku. Download the app. Content throughout the day. As always, it is my pleasure to talk with you about sports. Going to talk Rockets on Monday, the 12th, once the lottery results are known. And subscribe to the Houston Roundball Review. Spread the word. Click on that bell so you are notified when new shows and new content is posted. And wrapping it up, as I always do. Put myself on the big screen for this one. Let me do this. Do it right. Do this correctly so you can see my shiny bald head. There we go. All right, wrapping it up as I always do. Since 1994, the Houston Roundball Review. Local name, global perspective. Everyone, take care. Peace.